Who's playing cartels? You got cartels, Doyle? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Hey Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari O Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivardhari. Thank you. Hey Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivardhari. O Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Hey Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana O Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachare Jamuna Tira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hey Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari O Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Hey Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachare Jamuna Tira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Kala Chandji Radha Kala Chandji Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Shri Radhe. Radhe Govinda Radhe Govinda. Oh Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Shri Radhe. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5. Text what? 15? Is that right? Is it ready? Okay, I'll start it. Yeah. O Maitreya, O friend of the distressed, the glories of the Supreme Lord can alone do good for people all over the world. Therefore, just as bees collect honey from flowers, kindly describe the essence of all topics, the topics of the Lord. Others can read? Is there? Okay, I'll read. Kindly chant all those superhuman transcendental activities of the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead, who accepted incarnations fully equipped with all potency for the full manifestation and maintenance of the cosmic creation. Shukadeva Goswami said, the great sage Maitreya Muni, after honoring Vidura very greatly, began to speak at Vidura's request for the greatest welfare of all people. Sri Maitreya said, O Vidura, all glory unto you. You have inquired from me of the greatest of all goodness. And thus you have shown your mercy both to the world and to me, because your mind is always absorbed in thoughts of the transcendence. O Vidura, it is not at all wonderful that you have so accepted the Lord without deviation of thought, for you were born from the semen of Vyasadeva. And then we'll read 2 more verses and then go back to 20. I know that you are now Vidura due to the cursing of Mandava Muni, and that formerly you were King Yamaraj, the great controller of living entities after their death. You were begotten by the son of Satyavati, Vyasadeva, and the kept wife of his brother. Your good self is one of the eternal associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for whose sake the Lord, while going back to his abode, left instructions with me. I shall therefore describe to you the pastimes by which the Personality of Godhead extends his transcendental potency for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic world as they occur one after another. So now we'll read the Sanskrit for text 20. Naichat chicham tvayikshatar. Twenty is what you told me. I ended on 22 though.
What Sanskrit? Go ahead and start the Sanskrit
Oh,
over.
on 20. Yeah, the 20. Naitach chicham tvayikshatar.
Well, I think 20 is another Sanskrit.
Oh yeah?
It says Mandava, Sapat, Bhagwan. No?
Oh, thank you. Mandavyas Shapad Bhagavan Praja Samyamano Yamaha Bratu Kshetre Bhujishyayam Jata Satyavati Sutat. Devotees like So now we do the Sanskrit and translation together, is it? Na, never. Oh wait, sorry. I'm stuck on that shloka. Mandavya, the great rishi, Mandava Muni, Sapat, by his curse, Bhagavan, the great powerful, Praja, one who is born, Samyamana, controller of death, Yama, known as Yamaraj, Bratu, of the brother, Kshetre, in the wife, Bhujishayam, kept, Jata, born, Satyavati, Satyavati, the mother of both Vichitravirya and Vyasadeva, Sutat, by the son Vyasadeva. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. I know that you are now Vidura due to the cursing of Mandava Muni, and that formerly you were King Yamaraj, the great controller of living entities after their death. You were begotten by the son of Satyavati Vyasadeva and the kept wife of his brother. Purport. Mandava Muni was a great sage, Bhagavatam 1.13.1. And Vidura was formerly the controller, Yamaraj, who takes charge of the living entities after death. Birth, maintenance, and death are three conditional states of the living entities who are within the material world, As the appointed controller after death, Yamaraj once tried Mandava Muni for his childhood, what's this word? Profligacy? Does anybody know what it means? Sounds like thank you. Mischievous is the ISKCON word for all of those definitions. And ordered him to be pierced with a lance. Mandava, being angry at Yamaraj for awarding him undue punishment, cursed him to become a Shudra, a member of the less intelligent laborer class. Thus Yamaraj took birth in the womb of the kept wife of Vichitravirya, from the semen of Vichitravirya's brother, Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is the son of Satyavati by the great king Shantanu, the father of Bhishmadev. This mysterious history of Vidura was known to Maitreya Muni because he happened to be a contemporary friend of Vyasadev's. In spite of Vidura's birth from the womb of a kept wife, because he had otherwise high parentage and great connection, he inherited the highest talent of being a great devotee of the Lord. To take birth in such a great family is understood to be an advantage for attaining devotional life. Vidura was given this chance due to his previous greatness. Now we can all do the Premavani prayers together. And we'll do the whole thing because Esther wants to. Om Agyan Timidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you all for the opportunity to hear and chant with you. I'd like to dedicate this class to Garuda Dwaja and Jai Hari. Their presence will be missed. They're leaving for other services in other places for some time, a short time, tomorrow. Or so, okay. So yeah, we're having a going away party at 7 o'clock in the activities room. So what struck me in this section is how Maitreya Muni, if you remember, he glorified Vidura before he spoke. and he thanked him also. Right? Remember hearing that in the verses? And if we see throughout the whole Bhagavatam, it's basically conversations, right? Between usually just, Shukadev, Maharaj Parikshit, Shukadev Goswami, Vidura, Maitreya, Narada Muni, King Yudhisthira, each is like conversation within a conversation within a conversation usually. And that's the whole essence of devotional life, is hearing from the right source and being ripe yourself for listening, right? You could have Krishna, if Krishna if Krishna spoke to us from the deity, it would be pretty amazing, right? But it would really be amazing according to the receptivity of the hearer. Somebody may walk in and think, "Oh yeah, I saw this statue speaking, and it was kind of cool." But it was, they'll tell a few friends, and it'll stop there. But according to the eagerness of the hearer, then the speaker also becomes empowered, right? Like me, I may not be so Krishna conscious, but by all of your enthusiasm, Krishna may, well, you know what? I have to use you as an instrument to speak something to reciprocate with their eagerness to hear about me. So that's what I'm praying for. And thank you for your enthusiasm and eagerness, because that's the key, right? They say, what is the thing to get Krishna consciousness? What is that one thing? He says blessings of devotees. She says association, faith, eagerness, prasadam, greed. Prabhupada Priya, she's greedy. She's a greedy one for that. Lolium, that intense greed. That is just like, we're not voidists, right? We don't nullify desires, but we purify desires. So greed, when properly applied, is the essence for receiving Krishna's mercy. It's just like what everybody said. All those things are Krishna's mercy, prasadam, association, faith. But if we're not hungry for that, it's just like in Ayurveda. If you don't have good fire of digestion, then you can't assimilate, no matter how healthy the food is that you take, right? So what is it that's the healthy spiritual state of mind? Is that intense greed. And to the degree that we're eager to serve Krishna, to be with Krishna, then Krishna's reciprocating through every aspect of his mercy, through prasadam. Just like we know, like I remember one friend of mine, he joined the ashram when I was a brahmachari, and every day for like months he was like, "Prabhu, this is the best prasadam I've ever had in my life." And I was like, wow. I was like been around for a few years, and I was like just eating, okay, we got to get to the next thing. But he was really relishing, and because of his eagerness, to reciprocate with Krishna's mercy. So then also the sadhu sangha, the association of devotees, becomes that much more impactful and that much more transformational when we have the right state of mind, right? Just like Yudhisthira. Who asked Yudhisthira and Duryodhana to go out, and they said to Yudhisthira, "Find somebody better than you." Huh? How's the story go?
You go find somebody, one person who's not inferior to you, or not more qualified than you. And you go find somebody who's more qualified than you. So Drona came back and said, I looked everywhere, couldn't find one person that was qualified, more qualified.
Yeah, so Oh, go ahead, finish it up.
Sir came back and said, well, I thought I found somebody, one person that wasn't as qualified as me. He was herding that cow. I thought, okay, this person's not as qualified as me. But I followed him home. And when I got to his house, he was following a codicy. So I realized that he was better than me, more qualified.
Yeah, so according to our state of mind, you have the exact opposite experience, right? So Krishna consciousness is all on where we're putting our attention and how we're utilizing our desires. And here, what amplified that for me was Maitreya Muni's attitude. Like, he was asked to speak, and he was with Krishna, right? So in one sense, you may think, "Oh, I'm going to share the nectar here. I was just with Krishna, and Krishna gave me instruction." But no, he thanked him. He glorified Vidura for his relationship with Krishna. He thanked him. And then he started to speak about Krishna. And then that conversation is being spoken about and listened to thousands and thousands of years later because of the intensity of the hearer and the chanter. So that is one part that comes to mind. And then the purport is talking about the opportunity. What's the word Prabhupada used? It's thank you. To take birth in such a great family is understood to be an advantage for attaining devotional life. So we're getting some back history on Vidura. Does anybody who heard it for the first time today remember what Vidura, who he was in his last life? Just for listening fun? Only if you heard it first today, not like another. Who? Yeah, Yamaraj. Who's Yamaraj? Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, we're getting, he was some history on Vidura, how he previously was Yamaraj. And there was one great sage named Mandava Muni, who when he was a child, anybody remember that word? Acted profligously? Okay, never mind. He acted whimsically and was piercing an ant with a straw. And then that was when he was a little kid. And then when he passed away and went to Yamaraj's court, Yamaraj is in charge of people after they die, and he gives their karma accordingly. Yamaraj said, because of this, you're going to have to be pierced. And this sage was powerful enough to curse him that he would become born as a Sudra. But because he was a dear devotee, he was just like all of karma is not just a simple thing, right? Some people, like if you look at your astrology or whatever, you have influence, good, let's say you're in your Jupiter period, that usually means that it's a very religious part of your life, but then there may be another influence that, from Saturn, or that may be, K2, or all these different things. So many different things influencing us at one time. So he may have been born according to karma in a certain circumstance of a Sudra, so the person's curse was there, but then also his father was Vyasadeva, who's the author of the Vedas, who's who's an incarnation of Krishna. So that's a great advantage, just like Raseshwari. You have a great opportunity, right? Because you're born with devotee parents, and your life, your playground is the temple room. And your life is kirtan. Your school is full of devotees. So that's a great advantage. But also, all of us, or a lot of us, or there's some people born in the movement, but most of us aren't. Whenever we come in contact, just like they say, whatever's auspicious, you should do it immediately, right? Something's good, do it immediately. So when you come in contact with devotees, take it up. When you get an opportunity for service, do it wholeheartedly. So this is the advantage. We're like being born into high parentage. That may be an advantage, but also being born to low parentage, as most of the Prabhupada disciples, so to speak, many of their parents were not Vedic, not in the mode of goodness, but that can also push you towards making a more spiritual choice. So one devotee, he said that, I always like to say this phrase, that whatever the circumstances are, we use that as favorable breezes to push us towards Krishna. So some of us may be in a pious, advantageous circumstance, and that we can use that as favorable breezes to guide our ship, guide our life towards Krishna's lotus feet, towards serving the devotees. And if it's bad karma, so to speak, use that. Okay, this is repelling me, just like the material energy is personified by Durga, and she has a trident, and she's pinching or poking all of us with the miseries of the material energy. And we're running from the miseries, trying to find the pleasure. And if it's a service. She's the pure devotee of Krishna, and she's poking us towards Krishna, whereas Krishna is pulling us by his attracting us, his all attractive features. So whatever the circumstances are, good karma, bad karma, favorable winds, unfavorable circumstances, we say, thank you, Krishna, for now as it is. How may I use it best in your service? And we try to, go closer to pleasing Krishna. So a few thoughts on that. Any reflections or things people would like to share? Or questions? Yes, Prabhu?
One thing that the story of Yamaraj being cursed that I think was really interesting is that Mandava Muni says, when I pierced that ant, I was 5 years old. I was just a little child. So you're punishing me for doing something when I was a child, and this is not good judgment. So therefore he curses Yamaraj, saying that you misjudged the situation, so now you take it. Pretty interesting. So children, do they get karma?
What'd you say?
Do children get karma?
I think there's a technical age where, before a certain age, it's on the parents or something. Or I think it's younger. I think it's 12. Let's all speculate together, shall we? But yeah, I don't remember. But I just heard it floating around that at a certain age, somebody was telling me, you get all the karma of your kid until this age. So I was like, what? Prabhupada Priya, thank you for being here, by the way. We're very uplifted by your presence.